Let's have a chat. A chat which is undoubtedly going to entirely change your opinion of me. Probably, most likely. I'm a weird person, okay, and this entire video is going to show a small portion of my weirdness to you. And you're either going to think I'm really, really stupid or that I'm highly intelligent. I think those are the two options. You can decide which one it is. But yeah, I hope you look forward to the video. Oh, okay, let's go. By now you should know that I want to study medicine and that I'm so passionate about medicine and would literally work my arse off for medicine. And if not, then you haven't watched any of my previous videos and you should definitely go do that. But what you might not know is that in the UK you can only apply to 4 med courses and your 5th option has to be a different course. This is because of how competitive medicine is and just the number of people that apply and don't get in. Originally, I didn't want to have a backup. I know teachers are always like, you need a backup, you need a backup, you need a backup, you need a backup. And if you're like me, that's all you ever hear because you're very passionate about the one thing that you really want to study. And then when someone tells you you might not get it, you're like, ha ha ha, nice, thank you, that's very sweet of you. But obviously that's not what they mean. They just want you to be like prepared and not waste all of your intelligence just because you didn't manage to get into one course. Personally, I don't want a backup. I know that if I get a backup, I won't work my ass off for it. I would become mediocre in whatever field I decided my backup would be just because I wouldn't be excited, I wouldn't be as interested, and I just wouldn't manage to get up the motivation to do it just because I didn't find it exciting. I mean, a backup, just by its term in general, isn't as exciting as the degree you actually want to study. And I mean, granted, for some people, that might be the opposite. They might put down a backup and then have done no research into it and roll up and be like, you know what, I love this field, I'm so interested in it, and then basically just get straight A stars. That's not me. I do a large quantity of research into whatever I want to study, mainly because, at least for me, it's a very big decision. I'm like, you know what, I'm spending years doing whatever it is that I want to study. I need to make sure I make the right choice. And for me, that's medicine. This makes it sound like I've given in and I've suddenly decided, you know what, I should get a backup. I still don't want a backup. I feel like I need to make that clear. If this up to now hasn't made it clear enough, I still don't want one. I don't know if you're suddenly thinking, and now he's going to twist and contrast and be like, but actually a backup is a great idea. This is why you should have a backup. No, I don't want a backup. In my personal opinion, right, a backup implies that there's a probability of failure. And that in having a backup, that's what you're opening yourself up to, failure. And, well, I don't really want to fail, but I do have 5 choices. My original plan was just to apply to 4 med universities, and after that, if I didn't get in, I would take a gap year, have a well-deserved break, work out what I want to do with my life, and then work really, really hard to go do it. But at least I would have done everything I possibly could have to study medicine. So instead of having a backup, I've just found another thing. Obviously, it's not easy. One thing that I've noticed about myself is that I always find the hardest thing possible. It's like if I was a program, okay, this is how the program would go. What's the hardest possible thing for Chris to try and do? Work your ass off, do it, try and get it. Failure, try again. Successful, great, find something new, work ass off. And it just repeats. That's me. That's an algorithm. You might as well call it the Chris. And it basically just means that I find the hardest possible thing, work my ass off. Let's just take medicine, okay? Medicine is a prime example of this. Medicine is so hard to get into. But medicine is 2 or 3 bachelor's degrees, depending on whether you do a BSc, a Bachelor of Science, or not. And you can have it integrated or you can just have it added on, depending on what university you go to, what program, etc. The alternative course that I'm looking at is a master's. So it's kind of like my brain was like, you know what, if you can't do multiple bachelor's degrees, let's just ditch all of the bachelor's degrees and go straight to a master's. Granted, that's probably really, really stupid. You're either looking at this thinking, okay, so this person's basically just going to apply to the hardest possible crap, and if he fails, he's got nowhere to go. That is stupid. Or you're thinking, that's really, really smart, because you now have no option but to work really, really hard because or you're going to end nowhere. Which one are you? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, guys. at that point also like and subscribe while you're doing that. Anyway, it's a really, really cool field, okay? It's really, really cool. It's very new. It's a degree that's taught in a very limited number of universities around the world, and the university I want to do it at hasn't even had a graduating year. But that's just the beginning, right? If you then take what knowledge you get from that degree, right, and then go to its industry, that industry is new and it works on life-changing developments. Meaning that after I've done this degree, I would literally be thrown to the forefront of a new, rapidly developing field in which I could do meaningful work. That's cool. That's so cool. Like, if you think about when those opportunities ever arise in your life, right, that's very, very rare to have such an opportunity. The only issue I've seemed to have with this degree is that the grade boundaries are higher than it is for medicine. How great is that? I have literally found something that cancels out medicine in terms of how challenging it is, because like great medicine has so many people applying to it, but you need to have higher grades to do this degree. How do I always end up here? Tell me what you think in the comments, what you think of this whole idea in general, because it's kind of odd, I guess. What are you thinking about studying? Maybe you are studying and you have a degree. Maybe you can find a degree that sounds even more difficult than this. I don't know. Hey guys, Editing Chris here. I realise I haven't spoken about the degree and haven't told you specifically what the degree is. And that's because I'm thinking about doing a whole video on the degree and the industry and going more niche into why I think it's interesting, why I think it's so exciting, and why it's such a great field. So if this video gets 100 likes, I'm going to do that. Please like and subscribe. This is definitely a journey you're going to want to not miss. So subscribe, hit the notification button, and goodbye.